far as the investigation itself, we're still trying to verify and confirm some video, but it appears to show a significant portion of the incident as it happened. There's an individual that's taken into custody. He's a white male. Whether or not that's the person that police ultimately arrested and will ultimately charge in this crime, a bit of a question at this time, but that's just what we've seen so far.
I made a video about the attack that took place at the Pearl Street Mall in Boulder, Colorado yesterday. But at the time when I made that video, I had no idea that mainstream media outlets like MSNBC were reporting that the suspect was a white male. Literally for hours yesterday, the news was spreading that a white male carried out this attack. Now, the attack was caught on video. I had photos of the suspect. And I'm just a guy sitting at home next to a popcorn machine. The mainstream media had way more access to the information and to the news that was breaking as it was happening. The mainstream media outlets were on the scene. They have direct contacts and sources within law enforcement. Yet still, for hours yesterday, they reported that a white male carried out this attack. Now, does this look like a white male to you? Let me know down in the comments below. Does this look like a white man to you? It turns out the man who carried out this attack is an illegal immigrant who has no business being in this country. I think he's from Egypt. He's an Egyptian national or something along those lines. Turns out that he came into the country illegally under Joe Biden. Yet for some reason, his crimes are being blamed on white men. Now, some of you may see things like this, you may hear things like this, and you may think that it's just a simple mistake, but I can assure you that it is not. You see, for a living, I am plugged into the news cycle. I might not cover every single story, of course, but I look into almost everything that happens and the bigger news that happens every day. And when you follow the news cycle as closely as I do, when you read as many news articles as I do, you start noticing patterns. And you see, this was not a mistake when they labeled this guy a white male. And it goes way further than just the mainstream media lying. You see, in order to boost white crime statistics, oftentimes I see Hispanic people, Latino people, Asian people, even black people listed as white people when they commit crimes. You can go into the documents, you can go into the arrest records and all of that, and often people from other nationalities, other races, they're listed as white people. I see this happen all the time. And you want to know another thing that we see happen? When these crazy attacks happen, when the suspect is not a white person, they always try to dodge talking about the suspect. It's literally a ongoing joke on social media, and a lot of you all are aware of this, that if you have not seen a photo of the suspect, if you have not seen a name, if the mainstream media is reporting on a big news story, but they're not talking about the suspect, you know damn good and well it's not a white dude. Because when it's a white man, race is put front and center. They will release the photo of the suspect immediately. They will release all type of background information. They'll tell you, oh, he voted for Trump. They'll release the whole kit and caboodle. Here's all of this flood of information about this white guy that did something horrible. But when it's another type of person, they try to hide everything. They try to not report who the suspect is so they can go online and scrub all of their social media accounts, so we can't figure out what drove them to commit said crime. They always protect these other criminals. And I'm not asking for them to protect white people when white people do something crazy. No, when people do something crazy, regardless of what their race is, just to be honest with your reporting. But we never get honesty from the mainstream media. And even when crimes are committed by other groups of people, they still blame white people because the mainstream media is anti-white. And that's the reason, or one of the main reasons, why we see all of this anti-white rhetoric and hatred in modern day society. It's because the mainstream media is fueling that fire. And a lot of people don't follow up with news stories in the way that I do or you do. That maybe they're walking through the airport and they hear, oh, a white man set people on fire in Boulder, Colorado. Maybe they're flipping through the TV channels and they hear that for a few seconds. And now in their mind, this is a crime committed by white people. White people are so bad. When in reality, this is an illegal Muslim freaking immigrant from God knows where. I guess Egypt, maybe somewhere else. And this stuff cannot keep being allowed to happen. And when it does happen, we have to ring the alarm. We have to call this out. Because for far too long, the mainstream media has gotten away with this. And as I said, don't think for 1 second. Do not give these people the benefit of the doubt. They do not deserve it. Things like this are not happening on accident. I see this happen way too much for this to be an accident. And I see them protect these suspects and these criminals way too much. And the one time they decide to actually talk about the suspect, they just, oh, it's a white guy, everyone. No, it's not. No, it's not. But you see, folks, these are the tactics that they use. And more people need to be aware of these tactics. So share this video on social media if you haven't already. But you know, it's already bad enough that our country is being flooded with these crazy, extreme, radical people from all over the world. It's already bad enough that our country is being flooded with these people. It's already bad enough that these people are committing crazy, hateful crimes all over our country. That's already bad enough. But to make matters worse, the crimes these people are committing, people who have no business being in America, these crimes are being blamed on white people. They're being blamed on white people. Because the powers that be, the people responsible for flooding our country with these third worlders, and these radical Islamists and whatever names you want to apply to them, regardless of where they come from. It's not just Muslims, it's other people as well. What they want is they want to cover up the crimes of these people because they want to continue flooding our country. And by the time people wake up to the fact that a lot of these violent crimes are being committed by these people, they want it to be too late. So they will cover up these crimes, they will mask these crimes, and they will blame them on other groups of people. They will blame them on real Americans. They'll blame them on white people. And hey, maybe one day they'll even blame it on black people and other people as well. We don't know. Because they seem really desperate to cover up all of these heinous acts that are constantly being committed by the people they're allowing in this country legally and illegally. But I have a clip that I want to show you guys from the news that actually gives us a better idea of who this guy is, not a white male. This clip will give you a better idea of who he is and where he came from. But before I roll that clip, if you guys support the channel, if you support someone calling this stuff out, then consider liking the video. It's free. It takes 1 second. We need to get those thumbs up. So like the video. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Share the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And even if you are subscribed, make sure you put your notifications on. Now, if you want to take your support one step further, because this platform does not support me in the way it supports other people, you could always donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. That is always greatly appreciated and needed when covering stories like this one, unfortunately. But with that being said, let's go ahead and roll this news clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
You have talked tonight quite a lot about wanting to know about who this individual is, what about his travel, what about his background. And we can break to our viewers now, per 3 senior DHS and ICE sources to Fox, according to our colleague Bill Malusian doing some great work, that he is an Egyptian national who is in the U.S. illegally because of a visa overstay who came during the Biden administration. Mohammed Sabri Solomon first flew into the U.S., according to these 3 sources of the DHS and ICE, flew into the U.S. on August of 2022 at LAX. He was authorized to stay through 2023, but never left. A little bit of more details coming into this, but you were very interested to learn as much as you can about Solomon's background.
Yeah, and, so obviously one of the talking points is going to be the fact that he would not have been here and should not have been here if we were actually enforcing our immigration laws. I think for the purposes of the investigation now and the prosecution and what charges are brought, et cetera, what they're going to be particularly interested in is any of the contacts that he had back home. He's here now. It's about 3 years. So any conversations he had back then may or may not be pertinent. But was he reaching back home? Was he in contact with bad elements overseas? These are the things that those U.S. attorneys that spoke at the press conference and the DA, they're going to be looking at very hard so they can figure which way to go with this investigation. And look, this guy's going to be heavily charged. Where in a way, it almost doesn't matter. He's going to be heavily charged. He's going to be locked up for life. What we really need to do is to look at why it happened, how it happened. Those are the things that are really more important. And actually, some of them are outside the purview of investigators and the police. And the fact that we have the stuff going on these campuses and that the administrations, whether it's Columbia or Harvard or any of them, seem to just shrug. These are the things that I think as a society, more importantly, we have to be looking at.
And officials saying that this cannot happen, will not happen. Again, Paul Morrow, former NYPD inspector and Fox contributor. Paul, thank you for your insights. So helpful tonight.
Isn't it crazy that, these people are all about diversity, right? Diversity and inclusion. Diversity is our greatest strength. They're all about celebrating all of these different religions except for Christianity, of course. They're all about celebrating different cultures and except for American culture or Western culture, any culture involving white people. No, you're not allowed to celebrate that. They'll say that, white people have no culture. They're all about celebrating diversity and culture until diversity pulls out Molotov cocktails and flamethrowers and starts setting elderly people on fire at the mall, right? They're all about celebrating diversity and culture and different backgrounds until the diversity pulls out Molotov cocktails. Then they're right back to, oh, that's just a white person. Forget this dude's religion. Forget diversity and inclusion. No, you're a white person now. We'll just call you white. We'll just go ahead and just label you a white male. What happened to diversity and inclusion? What happened to being sensitive, culturally sensitive? What happened to, being careful about what you label people? What happened to all of that? All of the love surrounding diversity and equity and inclusion, it flies out the window once one of these diversities come and start setting shit on fire. Now all of a sudden, all of that goes out the window. You're just a white male. Nothing to see here, folks. Just a white male. But that's how these people operate. And that's why we have to call this stuff out. And it's tiring. I'd rather be talking about other things. But we can't keep allowing them to get away with this stuff thinking that, oh, it's just nothing. Because it's not just nothing, folks. There's a agenda at play here, and it's very obvious. It's very obviously an anti-white agenda. And yeah, it's very easy to just go about your day and not think nothing of it. But what happens if we continue to do that? If we continue not to call this stuff out, then where does this lead? It's not going to lead to a place that's going to be great for people like me and for people like a lot of you all watching this video. So that's why even when it's stupid stuff like this, we have to call it out. Because this is not an accident. It's not happening for no reason. There's an agenda at play here. These people have a plan, and they know exactly what they're doing. So I'll keep you guys updated on this little attack that happened. It turns out there's some really shady stuff going on with U.S. aid that may be involved in this. We'll talk about that in another video. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.